Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you are new, welcome. My name is Kitty. If you guys don't follow me on Instagram, you should, and I'll put it right here because I do get a lot of my YouTube ideas from Instagram. I try to involve you guys as much as I can, and this last week I asked if you guys want to ask me anything. You guys be nosy as hell and go ahead and ask me anything, and you guys came through with some questions. So if you guys want to get to know me a little bit more, please keep watching. First question is, how is life? Life is good. Thank you for asking. I'm the type of person that always tries to see the good in everything, even if it's a bad situation. And I literally have everything I need, and I'm happy and I'm grateful. And life is good. Would you do a jewel collection? Like a show, your jewelry collection? I don't know, because I don't know, I'm just the type of person that don't like to really show things off like that. To me, they're sentimental. To me, some ex-boyfriends got me some stuff, you know, or their grandmama bought me some things, or their parent or whatever, like, and I just don't want to like show it off. They were gifts, you know, so like I keep them, I treasure them, I adore them, I take care of them, I still have them. So if you ever bought me jewelry, I still have it. But I don't know, I'll have to think about that one. Would you ever show the perfumes you use? Yes, and it's literally a very small collection. If there was no COVID and you can go anywhere in the world, where would you go? I would say somewhere where it's nice and cool and very pretty, and there's water and just kid-friendly activities to do. I don't know, I think if I was to choose a place right now, I would want to go to the Teton Mountains, like Jackson Hole area. That area, so pretty there. If you could meet anybody from the past or present, who would it be and why? One person that I just always like, what if, and I don't dwell on it. I accept the fact that he's gone. But if you watch one of my earlier videos, I talked about him, about me being ghosted. This guy I was seeing, he passed away, and I never got to say goodbye, never got to see, you know, where things could have gone. And I always wonder what could have been. There was one person in the world that I met so far that I would have wanted to be with. It would have been him. It's hard not to think about him, and I don't know, I guess I need closure, and I wish I could have had closure or said goodbye at least. And so if there was one person in the world that I could meet right now, it would be him. Would you ever move back to your res? This is a question that I go back and forth over a lot of times. I think for me, I'm spoiled because all the stores are around. It's very convenient. If I get thirsty and I don't have anything to drink, I can go to Circle K in the middle of the night and get something to drink. Whereas if I lived at home, I have to like drive 20, 30 minutes to town to go get something to drink, and I don't know, I'm just used to being around here. I'm used to having everything close and nearby. But at the same time, I miss my family, I miss my home. There's just a lot of pros and cons to that decision, and I'm still like this over it. I don't know. I really don't know. What's the best homemade, home-cooked meal and dessert you like to prepare for you and your kids? Something that you all like. That's a tough one because my kids are very picky. Especially, you know, me being gluten-free. Most things they'll eat with me gluten-free. Other things they'll prefer, like pizza, they'll prefer like the real deal, whereas I have to get gluten-free. It would be acorn dumplings. It's an Apache food, Apache meal. And dessert, my kids like any kind of dessert. They don't care whether it's gluten-free or not. So I guess cake or cupcakes they like. So that's like our go-to dessert. How did you learn to do makeup? I was self-taught. I just watch YouTube videos, Instagram videos, Facebook videos, and practice. Practice is your #1 teacher. So like, I'm nowhere near perfect. I don't claim to be perfect, but I feel like my makeup game has stepped up since, you know, 2 years ago. I look back at pictures and being like, God damn, Kitty, you know, you were really walking around like that. But practice. What is the most surprising fact you have learned about yourself? I think it's that I've dealt with a lot of trauma. There's just a lot of things I've been through in my little life here on earth, and I've overcome so much. Like, I can literally write a book about my life. One thing that I've learned over the years that's very surprising and scary is how much I've been through negatively that has caused so much trauma in my life that has to be healed still. I'm working on it. What is the best and worst advice you have received? I think the best advice would be from one of my coaches. They would always say to not quit. Quitting is a bad habit, and once you learn how to quit, it'll be easier for you to quit things in life, especially when you get older. The worst advice would probably be from just women around me, or that used to be around me. Just very controlling advice. If you get a car, get it in your name, so if anything ever happens, you'll be able to take over. Like, just things like that. Like I said, I grew up with so much trauma, so much broken relationships, broken homes, to the point where women were so hurt and so negative toward men that the mentality, you know, kind of play the game better than they can so that you don't lose, kind of thing. So that would be a bad no-no, because in the past it's ruined relationships. So don't be controlling, or don't be that way. What is the most beautiful thing you have seen or experienced? The thing that comes to me is when I saw my first child born. If you guys listen to my stories about how I became a single mom, I went through bad pregnancies, and all that bad just went away when I heard my son cry for the first time. It just gets me right here just thinking about it. It was the most beautiful thing. It touched me to my core, and I just crying like a little baby, full of happiness, full of joy. And I've never known what love was until I became a mom, and that is the best experience ever. Would you say YouTube life is going good for you? I think I'm doing okay. What do you guys think? Do you plan on dating? Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I haven't been on a date in a while. No, I'm just real picky, I guess. I guess I have higher standards than I would have 5 years ago. What is your biggest fear? My biggest fear is that we are inadequate. I thought when I heard that question, that was the first thing that came to my mind was Coach Carter. You know, that's a good poem. But to be like 100% honest, and it's crazy because I work around death and I see death all the time. Death freaks me out. You don't know where you're going after this. I think that's where, you know, going to church falls in, and I need to, you know, go to church more. Would you break the law to save somebody? To save a loved one? Yeah. I'm pretty sure I've done it so many times, so love has no boundaries. What is your age range to date? How many years older? How many years younger? For me, I don't like to date younger guys. If they're very smart and have a good head on their shoulders and very mature, then yeah, but I haven't met anybody like that. And as far as older than me, I don't think I could go with anybody older than 36, 37. I think 36 or 37 would be my cutoff, around that age. So, would you like to do YouTube full-time? I would love to do YouTube full-time if I could. How did you decide on your kids' names? My first son is Keanu, and his middle name is Blue, so his name's Keanu Blue. I always loved the name Keanu. It's not because of Keanu Reeves, it's just Keanu, Pacific Islander name, and it means cool breeze over the mountains. And where I live, there's mountains everywhere. If you've ever been on top of a mountain or a mesa and the breeze hits you, you know how peaceful and just beautiful that feels. So I named him Keanu Blue, and blue is my favorite color. My second son, Juice, we call him Juice. That's his nickname because when he was small, he was so chubby. He's so cute. And he was just so chunky and chubby that he was just very juicy. His grandma used to say he's just nice and juicy, so we just started calling him Juicy Juice. But his real name is Diani. It's Diani Fall. So it was fall time. He was born in October, so I just said Fall. DE is part of his dad's name, and then Diani, I don't know. I just came up with it. Diani Fall. So it's Kiani Blue and Diani Fall. Those are my boys' names. Do you think you will ever find Mr. Right? Is there even such a thing? I really don't know. Sometimes I kind of be thinking like I'm gonna be a cat woman, but I can't even have cats now because I'm allergic to cats and dogs. So I don't know. I really don't know. I hope so. I ain't trying to be single my whole life. You know what I mean? Like everybody wants love. Everybody deserves love. That's what we all crave deep down, whether you want to believe it or not. And I want love. I love being in love. I love love. And I would like to find Mr. Right, but I have not found him. So if you guys have any guys that are taller than me, I'm 5'8", send them my way. Who is your celebrity crush? I don't really watch a lot of movies or TV to answer that question, but someone that I always see when I see on TV, I always think is like, that's just one good looking guy. It would be one of the twins. I don't know if it's Tia or Tamara Mowry, but her husband, and I'll put a picture right here. His name is Corey Hardrick, and I just, I don't know, he's just a good looking man. What do you look for in a guy? One deal breaker for me is height. Like, I'm tall. I'm 5'8", and to some of you that's probably not tall, but to me that's tall because I live in the area where there's so much Navajo men, and a lot of Navajo men aren't that tall, and the ones that I met that are tall, they're not full Navajo, they're like half black or half Mexican or half Hopi, you know. One thing I noticed living here for over 10 years is that Navajo men, there's a lot of Navajo men around here, and a lot of them probably like 8 out of 10 times I'm always taller than them, and I hate to be the tall one. I don't know, I don't like it. It makes me feel masculine. It makes me feel like not a woman, and I just hate that feeling. So height really does matter to me. Like I grew up around tall men. All the guys in my family are tall. Like, I'm just used to it, and that's what I prefer. So if you guys come at me for being whatever, that's just what I prefer. You guys have your preference, I have mine, and I prefer someone taller than me. What was your dream job when you were little? I think I was always wanting to be a nurse. If you could change one thing in your life, what would you change? I think for me, it would be not being in a rental unit. I live in an apartment. It's not mine. I want something that is mine. So if there's one thing I could change right now in the split instant, it would be having a home. That is one of my goals, is to have a home and be a homeowner. Where? That's the hardest decision. Be living out here or live back home. I don't know, and there's pros and cons, and I'm really torn right now on that. So that would be something I would change right now, is going from a rental to a home. How do your ancestors believe life started? We do have a creation story. I can go into that in another video. I don't want to get into it here. Let me know if you guys want to hear that story, because it's just too much to go into right now. So I'll go into that in another video. Do you believe in reincarnation? I do. I've watched and studied so many things on reincarnation that it's hard not to believe is a possibility. Is it taboo in your culture to mix races? Is it frowned upon? I'm not sure if it's taboo. I don't really think so. I think when it comes down to it, it's just like a race thing, honestly. I have cousins who married to white men, have black boyfriends, have Mexican boyfriends, Mexican husbands. Like, to me, I don't care. Like, to me, I don't think it does. I think what it really comes down to is whether you're racist or not, or if your family is racist or not. straight up. Is Geronimo a legend to the Apaches? Yes, he is. You cannot think of Apaches and not think of Geronimo. Can you tell more stories about little people? The stories that I did tell about little people are the ones that I know of, and that was it. And these were told to me when I was really, really small. If you guys want to share stories about little people, or if I can ask around and see if anybody else knows anything or can tell me something, then I'll definitely do that. But if not, I don't know any more stories about the little people. That is it. Thank you guys for sending in your questions. I really enjoyed answering them. You guys had some good questions. Let me know if you guys have any questions about the questions that I answered. Other than that, thank you for sitting through this long video and watching me talk about myself. We'll see you in the next video.